My name is Sayaka Nakagawa. I've been married to my husband Kazuya for 5 years. We have 2 children, Saya and Kazuto, and we're living happily without any worries or concerns at all. Even with the hardships of raising children, our relationship as husband and wife is great, and Kazuya, every day after work, always makes time to play together with the kids. He works hard at his job, and I literally have nothing to complain about. He gave me a present for this year's wedding anniversary, too. And my precious treasury got bigger again.
What's up? You're grinning.
Oh, I'm just so very happy. But after a while, Kazuya's behavior started to become strange.
I'm going out drinking tomorrow evening. I'll be coming home late.
Okay. You've been doing that a lot lately.
I have a lot of social business to take care of. I have to get along well with my clients, after all.
I know, honey. Work's keeping you busy for sure.
That's true. I honestly don't want to go, but I have to. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. You definitely need a break now and then. Have fun. That's what he's been saying, but his coming home late from work and working on holidays became more and more frequent. And he's been putting his family on the back burner meanwhile. This has never happened before. I was definitely worried, but I told myself his work made it this way, and I made the kids put up with it too. Is Daddy working again? Yes, he is, sweetheart. Let's sleep with Mommy again tonight, okay? Okay. When will Dad play with us again, Mommy? I'm sorry, darling, but Dad's pretty busy these days. Dad's a liar! He said he would play with us! I'm really sorry, sweetie. I started to feel very sorry for the kids, and at one point, it was bad enough that I had to tell Kazuya about this. I understand you're busy with work, honey, but can you spare some time for the kids?
I want to, believe me, but I'm busy, as you know. Please understand.
But the kids say they want to play with you.
And it's your job to take care of those needs when I can't, right?
That may be true, but at least play with them when you're at home.
Let me relax on my days off at least. I work for the home and family.
I know that, but...
Could you, please treat me well instead? I feel like you don't show me enough affection or gratitude. I think you ought to be a little more understanding.
Kazuya said things like that and stopped playing with the kids. On the contrary, he started going out even more on his days off, saying he had work or socializing to do. He had never been arrogant before and always seemed to put his family first, but a few days after that conversation, Kazuya started spending less time at home again, using his work as the primary excuse.
I have a business trip next week.
What? Again?
I was put in charge of going to subsidiary companies again and communicating with clients, and it's really tough.
I see. There's been a lot of stuff like that lately, though, hasn't there?
It's a busy time of the year.
Listen, I know it might make me look bad to say this, but could you be meeting up with another woman besides me?
What? What are you talking about? You know I wouldn't do such a thing, right?
Whoa, he's really shaken now. I've never seen anyone so shaken up. But I didn't want to get into a fight right then and there. The kids were asleep, and it would be bad enough to wake them up, let alone show us arguing. So I decided to pretend I didn't notice anything. Oh, so you're not cheating?
Of course not! There's no way I'd do something like that!
You're right. I'm sorry, but I was worried, see? Until now, you'd play with the kids on your days off and finish work as early as possible so you could come home and spend time with them.
Oh, I'm sorry for making you worry. From now on, I'll try to spend as much time as I can with you guys, my family.
Thank you. After that, Kazuya, keeping true to his word, started staying home on his days off and played with the kids. Perhaps he genuinely felt guilty about the situation. He started doing lots of nice things for the family. The kids were so happy, and that in itself was awesome. But Kazuya never let his phone out of sight, not even when he was at home. Something was definitely up. It was so obvious that it was like he was telling me that something really was up. No matter how you look at it, this fits the behavior of a cheating man. A while later, Kazuya said he was going out on his day off to meet up with some work friends. But you'd been turning them down for our sake recently, right?
Yeah, but my boss asked me to prioritize these occasions sometimes at least.
I see. Well then, maybe I should stay over at my parents' house that day for the first time in a while. They keep pestering me about how they want to hang out with their grandchildren.
I see. Good idea. You relax. Say hi to your folks for me.
Of course. That was the first time I lied to Kazuya. Only the kids would stay over at my parents' house. I was thinking that Kazuya might actually be cheating on me, so my intention was to follow him. And then the day came. We went back to our parents' house the day before, so maybe he even brought a woman home. That's what I thought, but it turned out that it wasn't the case. In the morning, he came out of the house alone. So he hadn't brought anyone home, huh? Maybe he's going to meet them now. I followed him for a while until he caught sight of a woman, waved at her, and ran up to her.
Rikako, it's been a while.
Oh dear Kazuya, I missed you! The woman clung to Kazuya's chest and started talking to him as if they were on friendly terms. I haven't seen him smiling like that in a while. What's with him drooling all over this woman? It's disgusting! I saw the scene unfold and I got irritated and was just about to yell at them. But then I realized that I was overflowing with negative feelings inside. So I took a deep breath and looked at Kazuya and the woman called Rikako once again. Of course, I didn't forget to bring out my phone. They were still walking together, holding hands and looking like they were a couple. No matter how you looked at it, they were lovers without a doubt. And I immediately took lots of photos and videos. In truth, I wanted to get my ass out in front of them and expose them. But we were in a public space, so I held it together and decided to pursue the case after he got home. I had a good deal of evidence and I waited at home for his return, but he didn't come home for a while. Maybe he wouldn't come home at all. I was up all night waiting for him to come home, and then today became tomorrow. Finally, around noon, I heard the sound of the front door being unlocked. Welcome home. You sure are late, aren't you?
Sayaka, weren't you staying at your parents' house today?
The kids are still over there. I was waiting for you because I wanted to talk to you about something, but I never thought you'd come home until the afternoon.
Well, See, that's because I drank too much and my coworker didn't let me leave, so I stayed at his place. What did you want to talk to me about? I'm tired today, so can we do it tomorrow?
You're tired? But you just went out drinking.
We talked about work, too, and I'm mentally exhausted. Can't you just let me sleep for a bit?
I can't do that. I haven't slept at all because I was waiting for you to come home. And I want to talk to you right now.
What is it then? We have nothing to talk about.
There is, Kazuya. I want you to see this. I showed him the photos I took the day before.
What?
Kazuya couldn't seem to close his mouth, let alone utter comprehensible words. So, you were cheating after all.
No, I'm not. This is...
What do you mean you're not? No matter how you look at it, you're having an affair.
She's just a friend, and...
So, you hold hands with your friend? That's straight up cheating, isn't it?
I was just supporting her because she was feeling a little dizzy.
For hours on end? If she was unsteady, you shouldn't have gone shopping.
Well, I guess that's true, but no matter what, she wanted to go shopping.
Isn't it cheating to go out with another woman without telling me in the first place? Why did you lie and say it was because of work that you left the house?
She's a junior at my workplace, and I was helping her buy a present for her husband.
Didn't you say earlier she's a friend of yours?
Oh, no. Well, junior was the correct word.
But why didn't you just tell me honestly?
I thought you'd get angry.
Don't you understand that being lied to or having secrets kept from you would make someone angrier?
I'm sorry. I'll talk to you properly from now on.
Sure. But you're still lying, aren't you?
Huh? There's nothing more.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. There's nothing going on with that woman. I just accompanied her on a shopping trip yesterday.
So what's this then? I showed him a video of the two of them entering the hotel. When Kazuya saw it, his face went paler than a ball of mozzarella, incomparable to what it was just before, and begged for forgiveness. You should have apologized like that from the beginning. Why did you make excuses and lie up till now, huh? You thought you could deceive me?
I'm sorry.
So naive. You thought I would be finished because I only saw you on a date? I thought you would continue making excuses if I didn't have any conclusive evidence, so I followed you until you entered the hotel. You two were really clingy, and it was revolting to watch, my God!
But that was...
How long have you been doing that? Are you going to divorce me and marry her instead?
She was just a fling. I went out for a drink with my boss one day, and we just happened to meet by chance. We just became close from then on. Even she doesn't take me seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Then show me your phone.
What?
Something you can't show me?
Well, no.
And so, I took Kazuya's phone and checked the contents of his messages with his lover. And boy, oh boy, were there sickeningly sweet things that made me want to shoot myself, but there were only a few conversations left. Perhaps because they didn't talk much online or because he deleted the messages regularly. Her full name turned out to be Rikako Wada. Kazuya told me that he and Rikako had known each other for a year, and she was the one who approached him. Kazuya didn't pay her any attention at first, but he was worn down and ended up having an affair with her. However, she also only saw him as a playmate, so to speak, and they repeatedly told each other that they weren't serious. After that, we had quite a few discussions, and in the end we decided not to divorce for the sake of the children. To be honest, my love for Kazuya was lost to the abyss. But Kazuya, on the other hand...
You're the most important to me. I shall spend my whole life proving that I only love you.
That's what he said. In reality, I wanted to tell him not to say convenient bullshit like that, and I would have handed him divorce forms, but I held back and decided to repair our relationship for the sake of our children. So, you're not hiding anything anymore, and you're not lying about anything, right?
Of course not. I'm not hiding anything anymore.
Don't get involved with this person anymore, all right?
Understood.
It's no good if you get close to other women. I'll only forgive you once.
Understood. Thank you.
I saw Kazuya crying and apologizing like an immature child, and honestly, I was disillusioned. But my children have grown attached to this man. Even if I don't love him, I want him to fulfill his role as their father. I didn't tell my children or both of our parents about this. If we wanted to fix things, it was probably best to keep it a secret between the two of us. After that, I demanded alimony from Rikako through a lawyer. I haven't heard anything from her, but I don't want to meet her, and I haven't heard an apology from her either. I just wonder about one thing. Even though she's 5 years younger than Kazuya and I, perhaps she was working for a good company, or she came from a rich family, but the alimony was paid in one lump sum. After that, in order to regain my trust, my husband decided not to go out alone except for work. He came home early every day and played with the kids. he returned to being a good father. A few months later, one day while Kazuya was relaxing at home, he got a call on his phone.
Hello? What? Yes, I understand.
What's wrong?
I was told that a friend of mine passed away. I have to go right now.
Right now? Is the funeral starting soon right now?
Well, no, not yet, but I was told to come quickly, and I thought their family might be busy, and I thought I'd help them out.
I see. Drive safe then. I sent him off, but I thought his panic was quite strange. Additionally, I think that normally the family of the deceased would be called first. If he was a person whom the deceased held dear to heart, it would be a different story. But in that case, their name should have been mentioned at least. I was curious, so I checked the GPS on Kazuya's phone. So actually, after his affair was discovered, I made him set it up so that I could check his whereabouts at any given moment. At first, he was resistant, saying it was ridiculous to go that far, but I told him it was only natural since I had no trust in him. He handed me his phone without saying anything. So, Kazuya is in the hospital now? I wonder if it's really his friend. I became sorry for doubting him once again and stopped looking. However, hours passed and he still hadn't come home from the hospital, so I decided to send him a message. But there was no sign of him coming home. I checked the GPS again and saw that he was not just at the hospital, but instead was going all over town, appearing genuinely busy. But I still couldn't understand why Kazuya was so active, so I decided to leave my children with my parents and go follow him. So he's in a funeral parlor now. I went there and saw the name of the deceased and where Kazuya was during the funeral. I couldn't believe what I saw and my mouth fell to the ground. The reason being the deceased was none other than the woman he'd cheated on me with, and that Kazuya was speaking as the funeral's host. I froze, my brain dysfunctional for what seemed like a few hours. But then I gathered my conscience and forced myself to move. I made my way to Kazuya. He caught sight of me and displayed an expression of surprise and guilt. Hey, what does all this mean?
I really don't understand it either.
You don't understand? You don't know why you were speaking as the host?
Well,
You broke up with her, right?
of course.
But then why are you here?
Well,
So you weren't broken up then?
yes, we were.
Then why are you the host? And what about that child you're carrying? Could that be your child you had with her? I couldn't fathom the shit that was going on, so I bombarded him with questions. Despite all this, Kazuya just kept on insisting he was just as clueless as I was. The hell you mean you're freaking clueless? Buddy, if you don't understand, then I sure as hell don't understand at all.
I haven't seen her recently, honest, and this is not my child either.
There's no way I can believe something like that. Explain all of this properly.
And I'm telling you, even if you demanded answers from me, I wouldn't fricking know.
Kazuya had the audacity to lose his temper. What a damn bastard. He can't even explain what's going on up until now. You're still saying that, Kazuya? Don't you understand what you've been doing to Rikako all this time? To whom do I have this pleasure? I'm Rikako's childhood friend, and I've always heard stories regarding him from her. According to this woman, Rikako and Kazuya were still dating. They weren't meeting up anywhere or anything, but they had been in contact every now and then. In fact, Kazuya and Rikako had met up at a cabaret club where he had requested her company multiple times. From there, their relationship developed into one where they pretty much lived together, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they were in a de facto marriage until the affair was discovered. Rikako knew about my existence, but she believed Kazuya because he had said he would break up with me someday. She also knew she was pregnant before the affair was discovered, and Rikako had told Kazuya that she wanted him to divorce me. However, Kazuya had no intention of divorcing me, and he simultaneously couldn't let go of Rikako. It seems that the alimony from that time constituted money that Kazuya had given to her. The cause of her death was a traffic accident, the context of which was that when her child was born, she was trying to press Kazuya into marrying her for real. Rikako had been waiting for you to come home for a long time, and yet you still say bullshit like that?
That can't be true. She told me herself that she was only playing around with me, and so was I with her. And about the kid, it's not mine.
You damn motherfucker! I immediately wanted to hit Kazuya in the face, but before I could, the woman made her move. Enough with your brain-dead excuses! The fact remains that she was together with her, right? You two were in contact up until recently. Don't you dare lie!
All things considered, it's not my...
Again with the excuses that you're not at fault? You never stop talking like an elementary school child, do you? Why don't you just tell the truth already, huh?
Sayaka...
Do you even know how she felt when she was waiting for you? In the first place, she never had any other relationship with anyone other than you!
That's not true. She was a hostess. Of course she was having flings with other guys.
If I say she never did, that's fucking final, understand? Shall I take you and the baby for a DNA test right now? The woman grabbed his collar as she said that. It was amazing how she was lifting and pulling Kazuya with such force. I couldn't believe she was a woman. Before I knew it, Kazuya was on the floor groaning in submission. Thank God this was after the funeral, and it would have been a bother to everyone, wouldn't it? I'm so terribly sorry. My husband caused so much harm. No, ma'am. I heard a lot about it from Rikako, you see. I also warned her that it was not good to get involved with someone who was already married. But you know what they say, love is blind. I can't help but question her taste in men if she was willing to give her whole life to this bastard. I agree completely. I'm sure she must be regretting it now from a better place. After that, I left Kazuya behind and went back to my parents' house and told them all about what had been happening. Of course, I told them I was going to divorce him. In truth, Kazuya's parents are deceased, and we shouldered all of the remaining debts they left behind. Kazuya was good at everything he did, so my own father saw potential in him and trusted him, claiming he would be successful in his endeavors and was always keeping him and his well-being as a concern of his. Just as he expected, Kazuya was promoted in his workplace, and his annual income is now incomparable to that of an ordinary salaryman. He already paid back his parents' debts, but since my father is also a major shareholder in the company he worked for, he should still be inferior to him in power. I regret that I should have forced the divorce when he made his first mistake. Then I asked Dad to inform his workplace about everything that had happened, and Kazuya was fired as a result. Dad also spread the info to other companies in the same industry with the intention of making his life a living hell. But then I realized that he wouldn't be able to pay the alimony, so I decided to have him work at a small factory run by a friend of Dad's. He's accommodated, of course, but the place was a run-down garage house, inhabited by a bunch of thugs who used to be troublemakers. Under the watchful eye of those gentlemen, he lives on just the bare minimum of living expenses every month. Of course, most of the money he earns goes to paying me alimony and child support. And by the way, the child was indeed Kazuya's. It seems that everything the woman who was Rikako's childhood friend said was true. The diary that Rikako had kept while she was still alive had been preserved, and it's now become clear that Kazuya had been lying all along. Now it seems that the child is being raised with great care by Rikako's parents. Much better than being raised by a fucking Kazuya. As for me, I leave my children in my parents' care more often nowadays, but that's because I decided to go out to work. Actually, I was a career woman before I had children, so working's not a hardship for me at all. I don't want to fall in love again. Hell no! My goal in life right now is to work diligently to raise my children to become beautiful, responsible people. Wish me luck!